All right, welcome everybody to the stream. We are here for another figure talk drop. This is going to be going over the brand new Megaguirus Evolution Set. It's here. Godzilla 2000 is about to be released in Japan. It's going to be about a month until it hits the United States still after that. But we got Megaguirus to talk about today. So who's excited about this? We've got some high-res promo to go to go through, and we will be taking a close look at all of those details and kind of going over all additional information about the figure as well. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. We've got our Megaguirus over here. Check it out. So let's read this together. Yeah, we got Megaguirus Evolution Set. It is a premium Bandai Webshop exclusive. It will be releasing in Japan March 2026. You can look forward to seeing that in the United States April 2026. However, the US price has not been announced just yet. So that means for now you'll just have to go off of the Japanese MSRP, which is 22,000 yen. That's including tax over there. But from the description, this is from Godzilla X Megaguirus, the G extermination strategy, also known as annihilation strategy. Megaguirus, Meganula, and Meganulon join S.H.MonsterArts are being released as a set. The prototype was created under supervision of Shinichi Wakasa, renowned for his work on monster arts and monster suits, sculptures throughout the Godzilla series. If you didn't know, Wakasa did sculpt some of the figures in the line. He's not the main sculptor, but he does do some sculpts here and there throughout the entire line. Most of it's done by Sakai, though, usually Sakai. But based on various 2D references from the time of production of the movie, Megaguirus' distinctive coloration has been faithfully reproduced with a wide range of articulation that allows for dynamic and expressive posing. Rounding out the release are multiple minifigures and Meganula and Meganulon, bringing the entire swarm to life in figure form. Well, not the entire swarm, right? Because that would be bad. But anyways, I'm going to drop this link in the chat. You guys are welcome to follow along as we are exploring this together. You don't have to just watch the screen, but check it out. The link is in the chat. And here we go. We have our Megaguirus right here. If you click on its face right here, it'll give you a nice hello. But yeah, it's the same information before, but this time just details. You get 5 Meganula in the set, you get 2 Meganulon, and then you get, oh, you know what? I did a typo right here. It's not 2 dedicated flight stand parts. It's actually 1 stand, but it's going to have little clips for the, I should say a clip, because there's only been 1 clip confirmed so far for the little Meganulon. I think it's only going to come with 1 little clip, and it might come with 1 Tamashi axe stand, but we will see. That information isn't quite public just yet. So, but yeah, let's take a look at the photos right here. We'll follow along. We'll get to a different screen right here, but this is just kind of a flyby. If you guys click on those links right there, you can be able to swipe through. We've got our front view here. Good profile side view. We also got a little bit of a bird's eye view so you can see the top of Megaguirus right there. This shows the stand in action. So it looks like the stand, based off of some of the event photos, is that you'll be able to pose Megaguirus so that it's in flight form or in this flight mode where it's more of an attack kind of style. It's very different from the Rathalos set too. What Rathalos has, it's a similar style as far as it holds and supports it, but it doesn't for the most part. But yeah, look at that. It's colored underneath, painted very well. And then this is some macro photography work right here, guys, because this figure, it's 1.9 centimeters. So this is like, if you get out a little ruler and everything and you just look at a ruler, like 1.9, it's so small. So for small as it is and being casted in plastic at the end of the day, like, it's pretty good. This is pretty good quality. Now I think this is actually resin, what you're looking at right here. It's a resin print, so there's going to be more detail here than probably on the final model. Yeah, so really quick, I'm going to pull this one up here over here. I'm looking at the chat. I love how they're not painted. Yeah. So, you know, this has been a long time going with Monster Arts. All the minifigures are basically an achromatic figure. The most paint that's ever happened on any of the figures were the tanks and the military vehicles. Not so much as characters, though. So, and even in the tanks were just a base coat and then like a little bit of silver on them. You know, I think the most painted small, tiny little figure was probably the time machine. I forget what it's called. The kids ship in the special color Ghidorah set. That was the only one that was painted, but even then, the paint is very minimal. So they don't usually paint these up anymore. Since at least Godzilla Earth, they don't paint it up so much. So, and then there's your Meganula. This clip, like, remember, this is a Tamashii axe stand right here. So anybody who collects Monster Arts, you already have these stands already. That's the clip piece that's going to attach to it. So it's going to be pretty tiny. I would have liked something else instead of this, maybe using wire stands. But I think the idea is that you're probably more than likely going to have your Meganula on Godzilla, or you're going to put it elsewhere in your set pieces and stuff. For some reason, they just didn't. I don't think they felt like putting a wire stand to have all of them flying at the same time. So that means that there's probably not going to be a hole underneath it or anything like that. So, but yeah, there's all the accessories I'll put out right there for you guys. You got your 2 Meganula, or 2 Meganulon and 5 Meganula. And then their little action shot that they like to do with these things. So yeah, this goes up for pre-order. Believe if you're on the West Coast, it will be midnight tonight. So Pacific Standard Time, or Daylight Time, I should say, Pacific Daylight Time. It will be going live at midnight. If you're on the East Coast, probably 3 in the morning for you. So you got a ways to go if you want to try to pre-order this in Japan. Really quick, just to point this out, I am still including Japan retailers and USA retailers on this. However, just be warned that if you decide to purchase from Japan, there is a markup because it is a premium Bandai item. So that means that you're buying it from middlemen, and the shipping and the new duties and all that stuff, it is crazy expensive now to import. It actually probably makes more sense now to buy domestic, stick with the US sales if you're in the US, because of the prices. So we're estimating that it's going to be about $200 to $220 when it hits the stands here in the US. So just kind of keep an eye out for that. We'll see how that goes. I'm still trying to figure out how they're doing the pricing on this, because right when I thought I figured it out, then they price something else entirely different, a little bit lower. Like, so we're still trying to figure out exactly how that they're doing it. It's not just a straight, you know, let's move the decimal over, you know, 3 times and it's just $220. It could be that for this one, but they might go a little bit less. We'll just see what happens. I think that it tends to be for the more pricier items that they do tend to price them a little bit lower than just doing the straight decimal across. So, but we'll see what happens for this, for the United States offerings right here. So, but when those go live, Japan, this will be filled up. Right now it says coming soon. I'll add those links towards the end of tonight for the Japan stuff. USA retailers probably won't be going live until tomorrow, Friday. If not Friday, then definitely Monday. So, and then if you guys want to download these photos, they're all available right here. You can download all the images. They are all set for you to go. So, but yeah, that is our main page right here. So what I'm going to do now, though, is I'm going to go ahead and pull up the images, and we are going to take a closer look at these photos. These photos are provided by Tamashii Nations. They hand them over to me as soon as the solicitation goes up, and we were able to take a exclusive close-up look. I usually post these on social media, but we're doing it live right now. We're going to talk a little bit about the figures, paint details, sculpt details, and everything. Really quick, I'm just going to look at the chat, see what's going on with you guys over here. We got Robo Lizard. Hey man, welcome back. Always happy to have you here. Might be a tad more detailed if they aren't painted, just straight plastic. Yeah, I mean, I think if you paint them up, I mean, here's the thing, they're going to be so small too. You got to have a steady hand if you're going to paint them up a little bit. Godzilla, King of Kaiju, what's up? Hey man, what's up, man? I'm hoping that it isn't $200 though. Yeah, it's probably going to be $200. I mean, if it's 190 or 180, that'd be pretty cool. But I will say this, if it ends up being the $200, you can expect pre-order discounts to be about 180 something or 190 something. If it's going to be 220, the low end is probably going to be about $200 to $215 for pre-order discounts. So we will just have to wait and see, though. Let's see here. We've got super excited that Megaguirus is finally joining the line. If there's one thing I think it's missing, it's Dimension Tide or the plane that crashes into Godzilla in the movie ending. Yeah, those are some pretty neat things. I think that the idea is that they're saving military vehicles for a future diorama set. So kind of like how they did, they call them diorama sets, but what they're meaning is the special effects sets that were released before, the Toho Ultimate Weapon set. So I think that they're saving military vehicles. They're gathering data on that right now. Exactly, especially when most people aren't even going to take them out of the box. Why would they waste their time and effort, money painting something so small? Yeah, I mean, some people will. Some people will. Okay, back to the photos. Let's take a look at these guys. Let's zoom on in and get a close-up look here. Let's go to 100%. So this is at 100% view right here. Check out these details. Wow. Look at that. So it looks like it's going to be a combination of some semi-gloss top coat with some matte paint, which is kind of cool. So the top of the figure is really shiny, but then when you look at the parts like the claws and the legs, they're not so shiny by comparison, but this also could be just light reflections. I'm looking at the body right here too, and it's very matte compared to the top. So I am thinking that they are just doing a top coat of gloss, a semi-gloss coat on top of it, just to make it look, I don't know, maybe more wet looking, slimy looking, if you will. But the eyes, so they are fully painted. There's nothing in solicitation that suggests that they are translucent. Normally when parts are translucent, they do make a big deal about them, but I didn't see anything in there. I asked ahead of time if there was any translucency, and I didn't get an answer back just yet in time for this, but based off what I'm seeing right here, they don't look like they're going to be painted translucent. It looks like they're just going to be just a straight on metallic paint, which is fine. I think it looks good. As long as it pops, I think that's what matters the most. We've also got, let's see here. So we've got the teeth right here. You know, in looking at the teeth here, they don't look so bad, in my opinion. They think they look all right. I think that Megaguirus's puppet, the marionette that they used, had a lot sharper teeth, but I get that for mass production that they have to make these teeth a little bit bigger to pull out of a plastic mold. And I think if you had a bigger scale product that wasn't in a 6-inch scale, you can make them much more fine details, but in the 6-inch scale, I understand why that they went with how they did. So this is what I would consider kind of a creative liberty right there. But I think Shinichi Wakasa, he's the sculptor for this. As you remember, he also sculpted and created the suit for Megaguirus as well. So if he's doing it this way, and I mean, there's a reason for it, right? So I think it looks fine with that in mind. So, but we got some articulation right here. We'll get a closer look at this, but I already like this significantly more than how they did Batra's. I was really worried that they were going to kind of do a repeat of Batra's leg articulation right there. So I'm glad to see that it's not like that here. Let's look at the arm, or the wing, I should say. The wing articulation, this is a pleasant surprise. We have a sheath right here. This gives me hope that it is not a hinged joint situation, kind of like Mothra's. I hope it's more like Batra's. That worked a lot. That worked quite well with Batra's, but this also looks like it could be completely different. It could be a hinge with the sheath, or it could be ball joints. I think it might be probably more like Batra's hinge. I'm just hoping that it's that way, because I liked that a lot better. It worked better than Mothra's. The wings, they're not bendy wire. They're straight wings. There's no bend to them or anything like that. So what you see here is what you're going to get when you're posing it around. It does look like there's going to be some flexibility, so you can twist them, though, a little bit and move them around. So, but that looks pretty good right there. The paint is great. You got dabs of some yellowish on that orangish red color. Let's see the other wing, the other side of it. Yeah, that looks good too. I think my biggest concern with a lot of what I'm seeing right here is that these parts are probably going to be dry brushed versus actually airbrushed. And dry brushing can go so far because everybody's got a different talent at the factory, right? At the end of the day, but as far as airbrush goes, I mean, it's mostly consistent, right? You just kind of spray it and go. The stand is pretty large, though. This is your typical. It's about. This base is probably going to be as big as the 70th anniversary logo bases, and also the same size as the bases that come with like Rathalos. So it'll be a bigger base like that. The stand is brand new though, so this is definitely. They definitely put in a little bit more work to make this more durable, to hold up Megaguirus in different poses. Like before, we saw Megaguirus kind of in an attack pose. This is Megaguirus just kind of posed straight up looking at the camera and everything. So I'm really looking forward to see how that works. And also, what's great about this stand is if it's not a cradle that's specifically formed for Megaguirus, then we can actually use this for other flight forms within the line too. So that's a bonus too. If you end up picking this up, there's a potential that you might be able to reuse this for other different figures in the line that don't have a flight stand. So this would be really cool if that's the way it works. So let's take a look at the profile shot here. Oh yeah, look at that. Oh, that's so cool. So it's kind of hard to tell, but I don't believe the top part is articulated. I think this is just one claw piece while the bottom part is articulated. And then you've got this joint right here as well, and they've made a note in their documentation that you can swivel this and move it around side to side, rotate it and all that stuff, so these claws will have a decent range of movement right there as well. This side profile of Megaguirus also looks really good too, with the teeth and everything, so that looks really good. There's just some shots where it looks awkward, and I think it's because the mouth is open so wide. Maybe that's the reason why it looks like that, but when you see a shot like this, it doesn't look bad. Yeah, that looks okay, actually. And then you got the reflection right here. You can see their light in the reflection when they were shooting this. That's funny. I wonder if you can see him. Nope, you can't see him. That'd be really funny, though, if that was the case, if you could see the photographer. So 6 appendages right there. Okay, so we're seeing a little bit more of the joint. So it looks like it'll be that swivel ball joint kind of effect. Yeah, it looks really cool. There's a little bit of a better view of the neck articulation. I think this is pretty par for the course when you know what this kind of, the way that the segments are kind of sheathed on each other. There's going to be a lot of range that can be achieved right here. I think it can look awkward though, because it is a toy versus, a big suit. Depending on how you pose this, there might look like a giant gap behind this. Might look like a turtle shell. That's kind of effect, but yeah, it should be fine though. It just depends on how you pose it. The top of the wing, that looks great too. Look at that. It almost looks like it's got a bit of silver paint on top. I can't tell if this is reflection, but it could be just a dab of silver that's just on top of it. I think that is on the actual suit too. I think that there is a bit of silver on top. I think it is silver though. I think there's a bit of silver throughout this. So that'll be interesting to see how that translates in mass production form. I believe this is reflection on the bottom wing from the light. I don't believe that this is any silver or anything like that. I like the little purple hues though. I hope this translates into the final product. Look at that, the tips got a little bit of that yellow on there. That's not bad. A little bit of a better view of the tail. There's a lot of paint going on in the tail right here. I'm very, very curious how this is going to translate in mass production right here, because you've got a lot of different colors. You got the base coat, you've got some browns. And then you've got the yellows right here. There's a lot going on. And then you got the little, they'll pull this part off okay. The circular parts, they'll paint that fine. It's just more of the blending. This is what I'm mostly concerned about. If they do airbrush, it should be fine. If they do dry brush, we'll see. We'll see. It's looking good towards the end. I like it. Very detailed, and what's really cool is I believe these parts of the claw of the tail are also articulated towards the tip right here. You should be able to move those. We'll see those in just a second. Better view. So there's that side view. Let's look at the next shot here. We've got, this is where I think Megaguirus looks a little awkward in one of these promos, like from this top view right here. Maybe it's because the mouth is open in this way. I don't know. It just looks a little... I mean, Megaguirus is an awkward-looking monster at the end of the day, right? There's only certain angles where it does look really, really cool. But then other angles, you're just kind of like, what are you? But let's take a closer look. So, yeah. Going with the claws right here. We've got those. They look good. Yeah, it's definitely got that semi-gloss top coating on the top of the figure. Not on the sides of the figure, just the top. Even the wings. So, you know what? Maybe that's it. Instead of that silver, I don't know. I still think it might be silver, but because of the reflective and the reflective nature right here, maybe it's just a glossy coat. I can't talk. Glossy coat reflection is what we're seeing. I dig it, though. It looks great. Let's look more back at the body, main body. I think it looks wicked cool. Yeah, check that out on the sides right here. That looks good, too. Yeah. It's maybe it's not silver at the end of the day. Maybe it's just light being bounced off of it. Yeah, it looks really good. I'm digging that. Let's look a little bit lower down here, back at the tail. The tail is just like, the paint on it is so cool in these promo images right here. I just really hope that they can pull it off in mass production like this, because this is pretty sweet. So it looks like we have, you know, there looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So there looks like maybe about 10 or 11 parts of articulation. I can't tell if this part's actually a segment or if they're just stacked on top of each other, but I believe that there could be 10 or 11 segments right here of articulation. And they were in a lot of the solicitation that you see, that you can't see because it's locked behind geofencing. They do talk about how this tail can really move left to right, up and down, and you can twist it and everything. You can get a lot of different motion with this tail. Colin writes, you know, it's posed very dynamic. In the movie, she was very static in flight. And that might be why people saying it looks a bit strange. Yeah, I mean, that's a fair point, because in the movie, Megaguirus, you know, it's a puppet at the end of the day, right? And I think that they did have, for some shots, it was a guy in a kind of suit, and they just did, I think that was like for maybe the close-ups. But for anything that was like a wide shot, it was definitely a marionette puppet. And I just think that with the technology at the time, they were trying to do a lot of green screen, and they were trying to do a lot of, you know, attempts at CGI in the movie at the time, and it just didn't look good in that movie. So, oh, it can move up and down. If so, it's very surprising. Zoomed articulation upwards. Yeah, it can move up and down. The nice thing about the sheathing here is that, you know, it can move up. It's just, I'll put it this way. It can move up, but it's probably not going to move up as high as it can move down, because you do have this part that kind of sticks out right here. You'll be able to move it upwards, but as far as it like curling up into the body, it's going to succeed at that much more than going upwards. But yeah, they did say that it can go up and down, left and right. You can twist it. You can make it go in just about any direction. is what they're saying in their promo over there. Take a look at the next photo. Okay, so this is one that we've seen before. We've seen this pose. This is that one where people are just kind of looking at the face, and it just kind of looks funky in this shot. And I think maybe it's because it is that. This is an example of, I think, where the mouth might be just open too wide, and that's why it throws us off. But also the teeth aren't as sharp and dagger-like as it was in the suit, so it does kind of look a little funky. But I think, for all intents and purposes, I think that this is Megaguirus at the end of the day. You look at this and you're like, yeah, it's Megaguirus. I get it. I think if this was a bigger figure, like if this was in the 7-inch scale, like a Haya figure, I think that you'd be able to get away with sharper details in the teeth. But being a 6-inch figure, you're just a little bit more limited when it comes to those sharper details. Same thing with like the crest and all that stuff. You know, the crest is much more sharp on the marionette compared to the figure right here. And I think that's just some things that they kind of toned down for this scale. So not too much different on this. We've already kind of seen this angle already underneath the wing. It's kind of nice to see the detail on the inner mouth though this time around. Same thing for this wing, not too much different there. You can see a little bit more of the claws and the leg articulation right there. I can already see that this looks a lot better than what Batra's was because of the swivel ball joint that they've got going on right there. So, does it have compound eyes or is it just a candy coat on the eyes? It's probably a metallic coat. It's not, they're not compound eyes at all. Yeah, it's just a straight up, yeah, there's no compound effect in there at all. It's just metallic paint over it. So, and then we've got a better view of under the tail. Ah, here it is. Yes. So let's kind of recount this again. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So yeah, about 10. It's probably likely 10 points of articulation throughout the whole thing. And then here's an example I was talking about where these are articulated. You should be able to move these inward, outward. They're on a ball joint likely, so you can kind of rotate them and move them around a little bit. Better view of the stand parts right here. It's kind of similar to like the Hedera flight stand, but a much thicker plastic right here. You can kind of see it, but because of the lighting and everything, you can see how the cradle holds onto it right here. It's just ever so transparent, but it does look like it wraps around. And it looks like it just kind of grips the back of it. And it looks like, if I were to assume anything, I would think that the way that this is set up is so that there might be two pieces that attach to this. One is where the back of Megaguirus with the spikes rests on top of this piece of plastic. And then for the part where it's flying straight, I think that they'll have a flat piece that matches the chest area right here, or at least I think it's towards the bottom between the tail and the chest to balance it perfectly. So I think that's how they're going to do that for this. So, which if they end up doing that, it won't work for ideally all monster arts that don't have flying stands, but it still should work okay. Yeah, tail pincers, yep. So cool. All right, next one. So this is a much more clear view of the underside of the figure. So we'll start up here. So yeah, you got this over here, all that good stuff. Better idea of how that articulation in the legs are going to work. So it looks like it's going to pop in. You've got it looks like a swivel part right here, but then it plugs in with the ball joint, so you can freely move this wherever you need to go. Ball joint here, ball joint there, but also it's got that cut in the middle of the ball joint, so it's going to be able to have that hinge effect, right? And then this looks like just a straight up ball joint that's just going to plug in for this last part. This is very similar to how they did Batra's in this area right here, but these parts specifically are very unique to Megaguirus. Not even Mothra had this style, I don't think. Actually, you know what? Mothra might have had this style. I thought Mothra's legs were better than Batra's, that's for sure. And then you got the chest. The chest's got different colors going on, and it's not just a straight brown. Like you've got you know, tans and darker brown, muddy brown colors, and this is like a lighter brown color on the chest area right there. There's some other detail going on. It's not bad looking either. You got the hinge joint right there for the mouth. Oh, is that, look at that. Megaguirus is going to have 2 layers of teeth in the mouth right there. That's cool. Nice attention to detail. Let's see, what else is there? So we've kind of seen this a little bit already. This is just kind of another angle. I'm really hoping that they kind of keep this fading effect on here. My concern is that it's just going to be a straight line through it in mass production, but there's hope. We'll see what happens. It does look like it's dry brushed, so your mileage is probably going to vary. We'll see. But yeah, the leg articulation looks really good. It does look like you're going to be able to do a lot more than what Batra did, because Batra's legs are kind of pre-posed in such a way, the way that they did the articulation. This looks like you'll be able to pose them in just about any direction you want. So this is really a nice upgrade comparatively. And they really try to demonstrate that here by showing you just how far these legs can go. You know, one's all the way in, out, we got them really far out. So I can appreciate that they really are trying to show you, like, you can go really far with these legs this time around. And then back to underneath there. I wonder if these are going to have like a metallic shine to them. It kind of looks like they might have that metallic shine. That would be really cool. And look at that on the sides. It's even darker on the tail. We didn't see that from before, I don't think, but it gets really dark right here. So I hope that carries on in the final product as well. I'm really stoked for this figure. I'm looking forward to it. The only Megaguirus figure I have is the Movie Monster Series one. That came in like a blister pack with the other Meganulon, and I think it was like a Heat Ray Godzilla 2000. So this is a nice upgrade to have. All right, here we go. I have faith. Sorry. I have faith, Tess. MonsterArts will deliver. I think they will. But there's a lot. Let's be real. There's a lot of different paint colorations going on with this figure. And when it comes to things with a lot of paint, it becomes a little bit more challenging for MonsterArts to handle. But we'll see what happens. How is this small figure 2K less than key? It's not a small figure. It's actually quite big. The figure itself is, if you get a ruler out, or if you have a tape measure with you, take it out with me, and the body length from head to the tip of the tail is 8.3 inches long. So it's already bigger than your standard Godzilla figure. Your standard Godzilla figure is 6.3 inches tall. The wingspan alone is 13 inches. So that's over a foot long total. So it's not a small figure. I think people think that bugs like this, and even Anguirus, when Anguirus was first listed, people thought Anguirus was like, oh, it's so much smaller than Godzilla. It's like, it's not really. It's a much bigger figure in general. But I think in general, I think Megaguirus is not a small figure, though. It's definitely a lot bigger than you think it is. Anyways, back to the photo here at hand. So this minifigure, it is 1.9 centimeters. Yeah, it's very, very small. It's unpainted. Remember, this is macro photography of this, so you're seeing this in like detail that you probably will not see with your human eye, because it's so small. So I think it looks okay. It's a minifigure. What else is there to really say? It complements the set. What's funny, though, is when they first said Evolution Set, what I had thought was that they were going to do kind of similar what they did with the Destroy Evolution Set, and you would just get bigger figures of each form, but they actually kept it to scale. So that part of me is disappointed, because I would have preferred having larger versions of these characters. Like I said, I have the Movie Monsters blister pack, and you do get larger versions of the Meganula and the Meganulon, and those are painted up very well and everything for, you know, vinyl figures. But because these are to scale, they're significantly smaller. You know, they just, it's neat that they complement the scale, right? They're to scale with the figures, but at the same time, I would have liked a bigger version of these characters too, because they're not represented well. But either way, it's neat to have. You know, you got your legs, there's no articulation with this guy. It's just going to be able to, you know, you just pose it somewhere. And if you want to go the extra mile, you can try to paint it yourself. Good luck though. And I hope you have a steady hand, because this is extremely small. But zooming in, yeah. Remember, this is macro photography. So a lot of this stuff that you're seeing right here, this is just chromatic aberration that happens when you take a photo and you haven't put it through a proper process in your post-production workflow. So a lot of this glittery kind of effect here, that's chromatic aberration is what we call that with the lens. It's not actually on the figure. It doesn't have this paint coat on it. Yeah. I mean, it's a neat addition. It's a neat addition. It just makes you wonder, did we have to call it an evolution set if it was just going to be minifigures put in there, though? It does beg the question, right? Makes it sound, when you hear evolution set, it makes it sound a lot bigger than it really is, right? All right, so here's our Meganula. So yeah, better view of that clip right here. Remember the Tamashii Act scale, the Tamashii Act stands, you know what those look like if you own any MonsterArts figures that had any accessories or any SH Figure Arts. They come with these stands usually. You know how big the tips are. If you don't have one, or if you forgot, take a look at it, hold it in your hand right now. That's how big this thing is going to be. It's a small little clip. You just basically, it's like a pressure clip. You push this tail into it, it's just going to hold it there. I might come up with a mod for this later where you can just stick a wire in it, a 1mm wire. It just depends on how big these are, because obviously if they're so small, that 1mm wire is going to be so huge. You don't want to like damage it too much. But I think I can come up with a rig. Let's take a closer look. For this small of detail, like it's surprising that they're even able to get this much detail in the front. That's crazy. Again, a lot of this sparkly color, that's just chromatic aberration. It's not on the figure itself. It's not paint. Wings look all right. I mean, it looks like the Meganula. What I will probably do with my personal set after I do the review is I might just take black wash and just kind of hit these with the black wash really quick. I'm not going to paint them up too much. I don't have a steady hand for myself, and I probably just add a black wash to it just to give it a little bit more detail and call it good, though. Might paint the eyes on these ones, though, green. But that'll be it. I'm not going to go nuts trying to make these look really, really like they're going to pop or anything like that. I actually used to own one of the props, a replica of the props for this, so kind of wish I didn't sell it because I could have used that as a reference, but I think I can find pictures of it online, too. And then here's the army. So I'm sure if you're a person that likes to army build, if you keep an eye on Mercari and eBay, as soon as this set's released, I'm pretty sure that you're probably going to find some people that are just like, I don't even care about these, and they're just going to try to sell them. So if you're wanting to army build, just keep an eye on eBay and all that other stuff, Mercari. For a second, I thought the heads were articulated. It's like, wait a minute, but they are kind of positioned the same way. So it looks like they're pre-posed. So I remember I mentioned that the Meganulon is 1.9 centimeters. The Meganula is 2.3 centimeters in length. I think these are already casted in plastic too, because I'm seeing seam lines on here. These don't look like they're made out of resin. So I think that what you're seeing here is what you're going to get. It's a factory sample of the actual casting of it. Because I'm seeing seam lines. And normally we don't see seam lines for stuff that's brand new, usually. Usually it's the resin prototype. So I believe for these guys, these are actual plastic samples that you're seeing right here. So probably what we're seeing here is probably exactly what we're going to get. Yeah, see that? You can see the seam line right there. And it's also been put together, it looks like, in parts. So I'm pretty sure that these are final, what you're seeing right here. I mean, when I say final, I mean like final build. The paint might change a little bit, you know, factory samples and stuff like that. But as far as the way that it's put together, I'm pretty sure this is what we're going to get. They look good. And, you know, a fun little fact, if you're wanting to do, not fact, but just like if you want to know what to do with these, just one of the things that I'm planning on doing is just get some blue tack. If you want to put it on Godzilla or on some buildings, just get some blue tack, put it underneath them. Better than having a stand. Because a lot of these guys in the movies, they just kind of hang around. Like, yeah, you have the big sequence when they're flying around Godzilla, but there's a lot of parts where they're just on the buildings too. So just get a little blue tack and you can recreate that if you got some buildings, toy buildings. Yeah, for sure. And lastly, we have the final shot, the big action shot that they like to do. I really like this, that they do the basic promo and then they do like a fun little action shot. So, but let's take a look at that. This is a factory sample that they're using. So this is no longer the resin prototype for Godzilla 2000. So that's a factory sample right there that they're using. And then there's Megaguirus again. Yeah, I mean, it's poses like this that makes it look awkward. And I think it's just because it's like looking towards the camera. I think when it's looking more to the side, that's when Megaguirus looks great. But from the front, this just looks so flipping awkward. I don't think that looks good at all, this shot. Yeah. Maybe it's also because it's looking up. I would have made it look more down towards Godzilla. I think that would have worked better. Yeah, look at that. Let's look at the other wing one last time. Yeah, so not a bendy wing. It's just a straight wing. Very curious to see what's going on here. This leads me like seeing more of this shot. I do wonder if this is just going to be a ball joint more than a hinge now. It does look like it might be a ball joint. If it is, I'll be happy with that. I'd rather have a ball joint because this allows you to move this more in a 360, more like, I don't know how to say it, but it lets you have more freedom to move that around. Let's look at the tail. Tail's looking good. Yeah, that's great. And then I wanted to just really quick go over here. They've got the, this is the articulation for the new Godzilla's arm right here. They just, I don't know if you guys remember this, but in the solicitation, they mentioned that this Godzilla has a brand new articulation in the arm to allow it to have a very, just a lot more range, especially when it comes to moving the hands close to the chest. And I can see that here. It's definitely able to bend that elbow quite a bit. So that's really neat. I can't wait to get this guy. We're going to be getting this guy, believe, let's see, what's today? It's released tomorrow. So probably we'll get this maybe next Thursday or Friday, which means we'll probably do our live unboxing stream next Saturday. So look forward to that when that happens. But yeah, so that is the Megaguirus set right there, guys. It looks really cool. I can't wait to add this to my collection right here. There are some, let me see if I can pull this up really quick. So this is an infographic that's on the order page, but because it's on Premium Bandai in Japan, it's geo-blocked. You guys can't see it. So I'm going to just kind of translate some of this stuff for you guys so that you can kind of get an idea of what this advertisement is. But it is a little bit of extra fun information. So the first part just says Megaguirus Evolution Set. Let's look a little bit further. They use the poster art right there. Do note, it is not the Noriyoshi art. It's just the regular movie art that they do. So it's an interesting choice that they went with that instead of the other one. So it says Godzilla vs. Megaguirus G Annihilation Plan, introducing the Megaguirus Evolution Set. The first part they talk about is sculpt. And what they say here about the sculpt is a lot of what I've kind of already said in the very beginning of the intro. I actually use this information in the intro, but they talk about the height, you know, the length of the figure being 210 millimeters. The total width of the wingspan is 333 millimeters approximately. They talk about how you can get Godzilla 2000 separately, but the most important part about this set is that it's being re-released as a companion piece, and it is an evolution set. Right here, we've got a comparison between the costume image at the time. This is probably a translation issue right here, but it's just, you know, the puppet that they used at the time, right? So a lot of this is saying, you know, the aggressive design with its entire body covered with sharp spikes has been recreated in 3 dimensions with precision that is comparable to the model used in the film at the time. The sculpting skills cultivated by S.H.MonsterArts have been used to recreate the appearance of Megaguirus for the first time of its release. Now, I know some people get hung up on the details with this kind of stuff, but they're not claiming that this is an accurate representation. They're just saying that it's comparable to what you're seeing right here on the right side. But it's not saying that it's accurate or 100% accurate. It's just comparable. Comparable meaning that it's not accurate. So, and then right here it talks about Shinichi Wakasa's involvement in the whole process right here. He was the sculptor for the figure and everything. The prototype was produced by Shinichi Wakasa, who was involved with the suit design at the time. They like to throw out names of sculptors that are renowned out there, gets people's attention. Everybody likes a Wakasa sculpt. People like a Sakai sculpt. Maybe they don't, but it does work out there for marketing. And then there's a whole little note right here from Shinichi Wakasa. You know, he basically goes on to say, and I posted this earlier, but I'll read it for you guys one more time. You know, it says, Godzilla vs. Megaguirus G Annihilation Plan, produced in 2000, is a work for which I served as sculpting producer. Following from the previous year's Godzilla 2000 Millennium, Mega Nulon, who appeared in Rodan, has been renewed and grows into Megaguirus. Production began based on the design drawings for Megaguirus, but it was a marionette type that was operated by puppeteers. As storyboard meetings progressed, it became clear that it would be difficult to capture the biological feel of Megaguirus and the hand-to-hand combat with Godzilla with the marionette type, so it was decided to increase the production suit type. You can see the suit type in action in the final battle with Godzilla at Odabai. So what he's really saying right here is, you know, there was 2 props that were made. They had the marionette, and then they had a guy in the suit. So a lot of the close-ups, I had mentioned this earlier in the stream, any of the close-up shots that you see Godzilla and Megaguirus fighting, that's the man in the suit, and that's getting more of the biological, realistic feel of the character. Instead of using puppeteers and wires, that's a person in a suit that's doing those parts. And I think there's a behind-the-scenes shot somewhere floating online that shows how Megaguirus was dressed up in that scene with the guy. I think he was like laying on a table or something for those shots, and he was just wearing the head part and the arms and a part of the top part of the chest. But anyways, going on, it says we also created a large number of other sculptures, including Mega Nulon, Mega Nura, and Megaguirus larva. I'm very happy to have been able to participate in the production of this Megaguirus, which holds so many memories. So really cool. He was able to go ahead and comment on that right there. This next spot, this talks about coloration. Let's see here. So it says, not only the shape, but also coloring has been faithfully recreated to the image of the film. Remember, when we're saying faithfully, it's not that it's supposed to be one-to-one. It's a faithful think of it as like an adaptation, right? When you're faithfully doing an adaptation, it's faithful to it, but there still might be some things that are a little bit different, a little bit improved, or just changed in general, but it's faithful. That's the idea, is they're trying to make it a faithful adaptation to it. Recreated the image of the film. Every detail has been meticulously recreated, including the yellow and red coloring seen on the spines on its body and the edges of the wings. The sinister body coloring that is characteristic of Megaguirus has been thoroughly recreated. Again, recreated is not signaling like, hey, it's 1-to-1. It's just that they just, recreated it to the best that they could for a 6-inch figure. The figure's this is talking about mobility right here. So the huge figure's entire body is fully articulated, allowing for a wide range of motion, including opening and closing its mouth and flapping its 2 wings, allowing you to recreate action scenes from the series as you wish. So we've already seen this photo right here. So they talk a little bit more about the action. So they're just kind of noting the range of motion, specifically you can open up the pincers. This part right here can move up and down. The sharp scissor-like front legs can not only be opened and closed, but they also have a movable axis at the base, allowing you to recreate poses such as Megaguirus' unique pincer stabbing. Notable movable parts are the rear legs. This is really cool. They highlighted them so that you can see them a little bit better. And then from there, it says the 6 hind legs growing from the torso. It's an interesting choice of words, growing. I think that's a translation issue. From the torso can each move independently, allowing for free posing. You can enjoy a wide range of actions. Yeah, definitely. Based off of what I'm seeing here, much better than what you could ever do with Batra's legs, but definitely probably about maybe the same range as Mothra's. I think Mothra's was more of a single hinge style, now that I'm thinking about it. I think you're going to be able to move these legs a lot better, though, than either of those other past figures. And then we get to the tail part right here. Let's see what it says. The huge tail has movable axis at each section, so it can not only be curled up to its body, but it can also bend flexibly sideways and easily accommodate movements such as bending the tail when flying. So, and you can move it upwards as well, but it just isn't going to move up as high as moving it downwards. The Meganulon is injected with energy by Meganula. It grows to a gigantic size and sheds its skin to become the ultimate Megaguirus. So yeah, Meganulon, despite its tiny size of just 19 millimeters in length, the head, back, and 8 legs extending from the body are all precisely sculpted in great detail. The larva stage of the ancient insect Meganula, thousands of Meganulons rapidly grow in the flooded Shibuya area, molting into the adult Meganula just a few days. Meganula, it says this one is also extremely small, measuring at just 23 millimeters in length, and even the fangs and unevenness of the back of the shape of the wings are reproduced in great detail. I mean, for as small as they are, that's what they're talking about, great detail. They're not. It may sound like an exaggeration, but it's just part of that's translation too. It's not an exaggeration. They're not trying to exaggerate it. They're just trying to point out that there is some detail there. These insects traveled from ancient times to the present day when space-time was distorted by experiments of the ultimate anti-G weapon, Dimension Tide. They have a ferocious nature and act in swarms. And then, of course, you have Megaguirus. Let's see what they say about this. It is a large monster action figure with a total length of approximately 210 millimeters and total width of approximately 330 millimeters, featuring intricate detailing and coloring, resulting in an overwhelming level of perfection. Again, that's translation. It's not perfect. Meganulon injected with the energy of Meganula grows gigantic and sheds its skin to become its ultimate combat form. It specializes in surprise attacks, plunging from behind the enemy. Megaguirus Evolution, get it in your hands. Or I think it's like Megaguirus Evolution in your hands. It's one of those. It's an awkward phrase. But yeah, that's it. That's the info thing. So it talks a little bit of some of the stuff on there. It's really neat. But that is it, everybody. Oh my goodness, there was a whole bunch of chat. I was wondering, I just moved my I'm sorry, guys. I just looked over here, and I didn't see the chat moving at all. And apparently, I just needed to put my mouse over it, and there's been a whole bunch of chat. And I just thought everybody just stopped talking. I apologize for not looking at you guys sooner. Because I've been looking, I was just like, man, nobody's saying anything. But there's a whole bunch of things. Okay, before I wrap this up, because we have another stream with the Figure Mania show that's going to be starting at 6 o'clock today. That's in less than an hour. I'm just going to go ahead and go through this chat really quick. But until then, I'm also going to just kind of scroll through these photos while I'm reading these and putting you guys up. I am so sorry. So this is like way back. I'm so sorry, guys. I apologize. I thought the chat had stopped for some reason, but there it is. Oh, dang. I thought it was a smaller. Thanks for correcting me. Yeah, yeah, so there it is. Yeah, it looks smaller because you don't have anything else to compare with other than the Godzilla and the events and everything. And there's perspective, distortion from lenses, especially for phones that take photos. But it is a large figure. It's a 8.3 inches long and it's a 13-inch wingspan. So it is a large figure. And they even said it in the description that I just read right now. They keep emphasizing that it is a huge figure. It's not like King Ghidorah huge, but it is bigger than Godzilla. What's your take on the coloration of Monster Arts figures? I've seen some people complain about the coloration of Anguirus, for example. I mean, I'm there with them on that because, in my opinion, I didn't think Anguirus was that brown. It is kind of flat, all considering. Like, there's no weathering details or any additional paint details on the main body, so it could have been a lot better. I'll put it that way with the paint. I do recognize that they wanted it to go with this direction because it's the 1972 Anguirus versus the 1968. So if they ever do 1968, I think that one's going to look a lot better in what a lot of people were expecting Anguirus to look like in the first place. I saw some guy, he did a custom of it, and I actually have an extra Anguirus because I want to do a custom of it as well, where they painted it more of the grayish color, and it looks so much better. It looks so much better. So eventually, I'd like to get to do that to myself, to the figure that I have. Gotta put it on Rodan's mouth. Yeah. Rodan snack. Yeah, that's true. Molded in the same brown. I'm not too familiar with that, so I'll take your word for it. Bring on the 56 Rodan. We have a snack. I mean, as much as I would love a 56 Rodan, it is currently not on their radar. I can confirm that. It's not on their radar right now. Right now, they're focusing on 70s monsters. Challenge accepted, painting my bugs. Hey, let me know what they look like. And if they look really good, maybe I'll hit you up on that because I just don't have a lot of time to paint things on my own. But Tass, if they were bigger, there would be there would be complaints that it's not in scale. A lot of people complain the earlier Showa figures weren't as tall as the other figures. Yeah, I mean, it's true. They could have done both, though. I mean, throw in the minifigures and throw in a larger figure. That would have been great. I would have loved that. Little dry brushing and paint for the eyes. Yeah, at Robo. Oh, there you go. Could be. I'd have to check. I plan on doing. Yeah, you told me about that, dude. Good luck with that project. The little mini. What is it? 300 Legion soldiers or something. Yeah, good luck. I don't know how many's in that pack, but there's a lot. Oh, good. You do Warhammer. I knew that though. I hope in the future Monster Arts releases a set with minifigures that we can use to army build with. It would be nice to have some Destroyers, SP Rodan, and these guys. Yeah, I don't think they'll ever do that. It doesn't seem like it's something that they're interested in, but it's a nice thought. I think we should lean more on the 3D printing community to do extra stuff like that. Won't be surprised if people make molds from these little guys. I mean, good luck making a mold from something so small like that. Honestly, 3D printing probably might be a better idea. This has got to be one of the greatest shots I've ever seen. Yeah, I mean, it looks really cool. I love how the new Godzilla looks. The eyes look almost transparent there. Could be gloss though. Yeah, they don't look transparent to me at all. It's just a glossy coating. And a lot of the reflection you're seeing is the big key light that they have on the figure too. I like how the eyes look. Yeah, slightly missed opportunity not to have a smirking head. Yo, I'm not gonna lie, that smirking part of the movie was just garbo, in my opinion. I was like, what is this? That's when I was just like, all right, Megaguirus is like the bottom of my list when it comes to Millennium movies. I was just like, this is out of control. This whole movie is like, it's more bonkers to me than Final Wars was. I love the colors, the stinger looks. Yeah, absolutely. I wonder if it's possible to recreate the rapid wing flapping that Megaguirus does in the film. I mean, you can if you're doing stop motion. You can definitely recreate that. Saturday stream. Yeah, as long as everything goes to plan. And when I said Saturday stream, I don't mean this Saturday. I mean the following Saturday, so October 4th for Godzilla 2000. So we'll see how that's going to go. I really like Megaguirus. It's very underrated kaiju. Yes, it is. I told you a few weeks ago it was gonna be Orga or Megaguirus next. Nobody believed me. Oh yeah, I believed you. I just couldn't say anything. Ah, he still doesn't believe you. You guys are funny. Where's her other form, the giant Mega Nulon? They didn't do that one for this. I don't know if anybody would. I don't know if people would really care if it came with that or not. I mean, that was such like a niche character piece in the whole movie setup, like it was a giant Mega Nulon, but like, yeah. You might be able to find something from Cast, because they love to do that kind of stuff where it's just the odds and ends of the franchise. Fireball version in a few years gonna be $300. I mean, maybe if the Japanese yen keeps tanking and our tariffs keep going up, yeah. Who knows? We're only 1 year into this current administration. Who knows what's going to be the next 3 years, right? I've seen some people complain already that Megaguirus coloration is. I mean, here's the thing. It's not. It's supposed to be. I don't know how to say this, guys. It's not going to be 1-to-1 accurate stuff. Like, you're looking at a suit, and for whatever reason, Bokassa, this is how he decided to paint the figure. I mean, you're arguing with the guy who created the suit in the first place, so it is what it is at this point, right? Like, it looks like Megaguirus at the end of the day, and even if the paint isn't 100% accurate, I think it represents Megaguirus really well. My faith is already in Monster Arts. I believe more than one thing. It's too much. Oh, gosh. Let's not start a cult here. Oh, God. What is happening in the chat? I don't know how I missed all this stuff. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm playing catch up, and eventually I'm going to catch up to when I found out when I missed all this stuff. So, although the Megaguirus suit with legs was in the movie, was used in the promos, yeah. I think I heard about that. Yeah. See, even as faithful proof. Yeah, sure. I don't understand how some people complain these figures aren't entirely accurate. Of course, it wouldn't be. It's a 6-inch accurate. I think there's a certain division of people out there that, if you're advertising, and I understand where they're coming from. If you're advertising in your product description that, things are 1-to-1 or that it's accurate and stuff like that, that you should expect that, right? I get that, but I think we have to afford a little bit of grace here that these are 6-inch scale figures, and that unless you're using a CGI model of some sort, if you're doing any in-hand sculpt stuff, it's as accurate as it's going to get when it comes to, this scale. So, sorry guys, 1 second. Oh, throat was drying up right there. Whew. I promise I wasn't going to cry. So, but yeah, I understand where those folks are coming from. If they're saying I think the folks that are complaining about this would rather that the descriptions don't say that they're going for accuracy than to just say that it is what it is, sort of thing. But I just think that we shouldn't just get hung up on the details and just enjoy the figure, we got it as a figure. Happy, damn it. Yeah, man. Looks perfect to me. Yeah, I mean, if it looks good to you, that's all that matters. If it looks good, awesome. As long as the figure isn't overly inaccurate, like Barney Color Godzilla, yeah, I mean, obviously, if there's a figure that's like outright doesn't look good, it deserves the warranted criticism, right? Like, but this is like, when we look at things like this figure right here, it's like, is it really enough to break the bank or anything? Like, did we ever see Megaguirus from its top view like this in the movie? Maybe that's why it looks awkward. I don't know. Looks pretty good. It's the price tag that annoys me. Yeah, it's an unfortunate thing. The pricing just keeps going up, and it's not just Monster Arts. It's everything in Japan has gone up in price. You should see how much Blu-rays cost over there. It's insane. But yeah, just everything is going up in Japan. It's just not Monster Arts. And when it's brought over to the United States, it's even more now because of the recent tariff stuff. Because at the end of the day, these are made in Japan. These are still made in China, and they're charged a 30% tariff when they come into the ports. So it's kind of a lot, and it just depends on distribution. Like, some companies out there might eat the cost, while other companies might share the cost or not share the cost at all and just put it all on the consumer. So, you know what's interesting is we're on the shot right here. I'm going to zoom in really quick. A part of me wanted to say, like, maybe it is translucent, but now that I'm zooming in on it, maybe not. I think it's just reflective of the light. That's all. I don't think it's translucent though. I feel like if it was, they would have made a big deal about it in a lot of the content that we're reading right now. There's a vocal minority who are hard on MonsterArts. A lot of them kids who listen to some loud voices in the community. Loud doesn't mean right though. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it just depends on where you get your information from and what you are interested in for a figure. You know, I think if you're into stuff that's, you know, more accurate, or color samples that are more accurate, you know, I think there's plenty of options to choose from at the end of the day. So if MonsterArts isn't scratching your itch, try looking somewhere else. X Plus does some great stuff. The Haya Monsterverse is also really, really great. As far as, like, you know, accuracy goes, I mean, those are the two that I can only recommend outside of anything else. Everything else is just like MMS. Like, that stuff's not accurate, but it's fun. I'll wait for a decisive battle version of Megaguirus in a few years. If they do it, we'll see. Yeah, it's hard to tell. Some of these, you can never predict anything that's a decisive battle version for many years from now. It just all depends on sales and all that other stuff, which we never know what that information looks like at the end of the day when it comes to premium Bandai Web exclusives, because in Japan, they're made to order. Get what you can afford. Don't hate on it if you can. Plenty of good stuff to get in this hobby. Yeah, you know, just get what makes you happy, man. Toys are not meant to be toy collecting is not supposed to be war. It's supposed to be fun. So if it doesn't scratch your itch, just move on. If MonsterArts if it's gotten too expensive, just go find other lines that are more appealing to your wallet, you know. But yeah, I mean, just collect what you like and collect what you can afford. I want this. This marks the top of my 10. When will it be released? It's going to be March 2026 for Japan and April 2026 for the US, but we are still waiting on the US MSRP right now. So just hang tight. It's estimated between 200 to 220. Megaguirus got a re-release, so I assume nothing. Yeah. You know, Megaguirus is also a general release, so. But yeah, they're going through their Heisei third release, second release schedule right now. So I think the Heisei figures are their own subcategory of when it comes to re-releases, because we haven't seen any other reissues like of the Showa stuff. Like, we haven't seen Beyond the Emergence version of 64. We haven't seen that come back. We haven't seen a 1962 Godzilla either. So, but yeah, nothing's off the table. I'll put it that way. We're having fun in the chat. Yeah, I'm seeing that. All the fun. Cannot wait to see some recreations of the Godzilla body slam. Oh yeah, I've seen one photo already online. Somebody already has that shot. Mike still 94. Yep, that's it. That was the one. Yeah, that was the one. When is the Godzilla figure pictured Megaguirus? Oh, so that one is being released in, let's see here. What's today? Today is the, one second guys, let me look at it. So it's being released tomorrow in Japan. It's the 26th in Japan right now. It releases on the 27th. So tomorrow is release day, technically, but some general retailers, since it's a general release, have already broken the street date and they've already started sending out products. So I suspect that we'll probably see more samples popping up online tonight and tomorrow. Will we get another figure reveal soon? No, you just got this one. Next figures, they like to reveal figures at the end of the month. So no new MonsterArts until, if they are doing any, until end of October. I need Megaguirus' other forms. Absolutely, man. I actually started making my own of that, and I really need to get back to that project. Megaguirus is actually my least favorite Millennium film, but I appreciate the cheese. Yeah. I hated that. I hated that smirk so much, though. I threw up my hands when I saw that. I was like, what the heck? Actually, I threw up my hands too with the body slam. There were so many throw up your hand moments watching Megaguirus. That's a popcorn movie with a friend that you just don't really care about. You just go watch that, punish them for making them watch it. People who complain about a figure, they'll get it anyways. Sometimes some people do, some people don't. It's up in the air, right? Holy cow, I'm freaking caught up with the catch. Or the chat. The catch. I'm caught up with the chat. It's been a long day today. Alright, so without further ado, guys, that pretty much wraps this up for this stream. I don't think there's anything else to really cover about this figure. It's really cool. You're going to see some cool stuff. So I'll be posting the close-ups of the figure probably tomorrow. Once when they solicit in the United States, I'll post that stuff, the US information about it. So I'll post the close-ups. You guys can take these close-ups onto your phones and your computers, take a good look at them. Really quick, the fight between Godzilla and Megaguirus is extremely entertaining. Honestly, one of the best fights the Godzilla... I mean, it is. You're not wrong there. It was very entertaining. Yes, absolutely. You laugh at this movie, and it's not my favorite. It wasn't my favorite. There was a lot of... they just did a lot of things in this movie, effects-wise, and it just didn't quite work. Like, they took the gamble, they tried it out, and it just, like... It took me back to, like, early 90s CGI, and like, guys, what are we doing? So... But yeah, so this is Megaguirus, everybody. It looks great. I'm so happy that we're going to finally have this buggo in the line. I can't wait to add it to the collection right here. I have some pretty cool ideas of how to shoot this too. So, but yeah, other than that, that wraps it up for our stream today. I'm going to take a 30-minute break because we're going to be joining up with the Figure Mania show stream here in about 30 minutes. Head over there if you guys haven't heard about them or anything. Go to just type it in on YouTube right there, Figure Mania Show, and you'll be able to find it. We're just going to be talking about all the latest products that have been just recently announced, some recent pickups, stuff that was released since we did the last stream. We're going to be talking about Legion. We're going to be talking about Stardust Dragon, the Burning Godzilla 70th Anniversary figure. We'll be talking a little bit about that, talking about some of the recent Haya release announcements as well. So be sure to check that out if you want to hang out with us and just chat. But other than that, that is it for us here today. So I hope you had a lot of fun watching this. It was a lot of fun. And we'll be back another day to talk about other things, all right? Stay tuned for our Godzilla 2000 coverage coming probably in about 2 weeks from now. See you later!